Hey, Sean, congratulations on the deal and coming back to the Mets. Aside from the money, was there one thing in particular that made you really want to come back to the Mets?
I mean, yeah, there's just so many things. I love the organization. I know my wife did as well. The city itself was incredible to just be a part of and kind of live the New York experience. From my perspective, it was just a lot of fun. Getting to the field, just living in New York. It was that was definitely a dream come true. So, yeah, just a lot of different things, and yeah, just very excited to be back.
How much does ownership play into the equation? The fact that they went out and they spent all that money to get Juan Soto, who I know you played with back in 22 in San Diego, that commitment by Steve and Alex and the ownership group, how much does that factor into your decision making?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing when you have owners that are willing to go out and get talent and um, you know have surround people with like a winning culture and aren't afraid to spend money and want to go out and the goal is to win championships and I feel like they're doing the right thing and when you have owners that are like passionate like that and want to see the team succeed and it's very fun to be a part of an organization like that.
Give us a little insight on Juan Soto, what he's like as a teammate, and how excited you are to be reunited with him.
He's great. And was he like 26?
Yeah.
He's super young, but you can just kind of feel that like that leadership, the that aura around him. He just kind of exudes confidence. Human being. He's just very calm and cool, which is always good. And I mean that's kind of how I view myself as well. So we kind of mesh like that, and he's just very just a great guy. So what I experienced in 22, he was same from what I heard. You know the other years that he's been playing in the league. So I'm just very excited to not be facing him anymore, and now he's on our team, and yeah, just a very exciting time.
A lot was made last year of the way you changed mid-season and dropped your arm angle and all the success that you had. What were you surprised at all at the level of success you had after doing that?
I'm a big like feels guy, so like if something feels good and I feel like my body's moving in the right spot, that just breeds confidence in myself, and like those feelings that I had when I initially changed were great, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Hmm.
awesome. Like I'm putting the ball where I want to, and I'm getting these like feeling and like stretches and like my pec and um, all these different things, and it just felt great. So I was like, all right, this feels way better already than what I had done, the months previous. So once I got over that little hump, then it just felt natural, and I was like, all right, let's just keep leaning into this and go from there.
Let's finish on this. I know when you came off the mound last game, in that game against the Dodgers, you were pretty emotional. Why was that the case? Can you use that as a driving force to try to take it a step further to the World Series this year and bring a championship to the Mets?
I think the goal is to always win a championship, and kind of where we started at the beginning of the year, not great. It was definitely a grind to get through, to 500, and then for the rest of the season, it was just kind of like up and down until we figured some things out, and then it was a lot of fun, and like that last like stretch of the year was like such an incredible ride, and um, like so for me, from my side, it was just like we kind of went through the trenches together as a team and a
Yeah.
squad, and we went through the thing, and the expectations were like super low, and then we like surprised a lot of people, and that's always fun, so it's when you go through those things with a group of guys over 180 days, um and then you just one day it just ends, it's very like emotional, and yeah, so like those like the tears and the getting interviewed was definitely a very like raw, and like I love the guys and I love
Yeah.
going to battle with them every single day, and just the evolution of everyone. It was such a fun team to be a part of, and um I think, like you said, we got a taste of it. It was fun, and we I think we have kind of that chip on our shoulder, like we have that in us to win a World Series, and there's no reason why we can't. We have all the pieces, so let's just continue to improve on what we did last year, and just go do the thing.